So week one of college football has pretty much come to an end, and let's talk about it. So for starters, I want to start off with I'm keeping a top five quarterbacks on my Twitter every week, starting this week. Uh, so I already did the top five. I didn't account for any preseason hype or anything like that. So I don't have Arch Manning on here before anybody yells at me. Just because he was awful. If we're just keeping it honest, he was awful, and Sam was awful as well. Uh, I don't want to. I can't put anybody in the top five who just spam screens to Jeremiah Smith, and a lot of them didn't even work. So I will. I have to say that the two defenses were very good, and I probably think that at least Arch Manning probably makes it on this list at some point. Uh, 99% sure. I'm sure he'll bounce back from this. It was a tough game for sure, but just going off week one performances, he had like 50 air yards going into the fourth quarter. He didn't get anything going until late in the fourth quarter when the defense started softening up. So I don't want to put him on this list either. I will show it on my screen for you guys the top five. So Nussmeier, I put Nussmeier first because I like the way that I like the way that he stayed in the game the whole game. When he had pressure, even though we know Nussmeier doesn't have wheels, he got out of the pocket and tried to make something happen. I like that. I like that he was overall accurate, and he played well in the second half and got his team the W at the end of the day. Even though K Klubnik was abysmal, he was awful. He was inaccurate, and he had some running ability, but it just it wasn't anything to merit a top five quarterback or anything like that. And he obviously let his team down in the second half. It was just absolutely awful by Clemson overall in the second half. But Nussmeier stayed accurate. Was a tough defense for sure, and got it done in an away game on the first game. So I can't take anything away from Garrett there, and he earned himself the number one spot. Now the rest of the players, they mostly played nobody teams, I will admit, but they played well. They looked good, so I have to rank it accordingly. John Matur, I think is how you say his name, looked the best easily. If Nussmeier didn't play that well, he would be number one easily. He was accurate. His form looked great. He has a quick release. He can run. I seen him have some dirty moves on the run, passing and just making people miss. So he is definitely a very top guy on my radar to start the season. And I didn't even really know about. I didn't know anything about Matur going into the season. I heard that he should be good, but I don't buy into hype like that because of like we've seen before of DJ Uongavale and how bad he was. So I just wait for the season to start and see what happens. And he's by far up there, so that should be interesting to go to see. We got number three, Prbula. He looked great as well. If you guys can watch all the highlights of these teams. Matur from Oklahoma, Prbula from Mizzou, my bad. Great deep ball, great form, great accuracy, and can run the ball very well. So he's up there as well. Marcel Reed, you guys know him from Texas A&M. Another great quarterback. Another a guy that can really run, but can also pass. Pass very well, forms well, accurate guy. Has his problems sometimes as well, but that's why he's not one. So we'll keep updating this and we'll see. And then lastly, Austin Simmons from Ole Miss. Obviously, Ole Miss lit Georgia State up this past Saturday. Um, People, they were saying he made a lot of mistakes. I didn't like. I didn't really agree with most of those people. I think in the first quarter he definitely threw some picks that shouldn't have been picks. One of them was very accurate, but it just got picked off by the safety. I don't think he saw the safety there. I think they'll clean that up. Lane Kiffin will clean that up. He had to he didn't like what he saw from Simmons today. I think he's absolutely crazy. I wouldn't say that he didn't like what he's seen, but he said there was a lot of mistakes. Now I think it's easy mistakes to clean up. I think he's the youngest quarterback in the SEC. So I mean, give him a break. The only other quarterback, to my knowledge, that's younger than him is Bryce Underwood. And then we got Joey Aguilar. I would change that out now. I would put Bryce Underwood over Aguilar. Aguilar looked all right. These honorable mentions, like I said, they're just all right. Didn't do anything to hurt their team, but their team did most of the work. With Aguilar, the defense did very well. And then the honorable mention down here, Dante Moore. His running game, the Oregon's running game was very good. So I'd replace Aguilar with Bryce Underwood, and then I might would even put another honorable mention for the Iowa State quarterback. I forgot his name, but the first game he didn't do that well. So, but the main top five, I am very interested to see what they do. And do I think probably at least Arch Manning will probably make his way on this list. And like I said, at the very bottom of this tweet, I don't really, if they light it up like the USC game, light it up with screens and then they run 100 yards, I'm not going to put them on there. I look at every game and see how they actually do, like how accurate the passes are, see if they're a run threat as well. And I also take into account the team that they're playing, of course. So the USC quarterback, he just threw a lot of screens. Gunnar Stockton is run first, and I don't think he's very accurate. I don't think he will be a very good quarterback. I think his team will save him eventually. The Georgia O-line defense all looked great again for whatever consecutive year it is now. And then with Jackson Arnold and Auburn, their run game looked pretty well, but I think he'll crumble at some point this season. They got the big win over Baylor, and Baylor to their credit, but I don't think it'll last. I think Jackson Arnold will look like the same guy at OU last year, which was absolutely abysmal. So getting to just the week one scoreboards. That was actually before. Okay. So first game, like I said, Texas and Ohio State. What do I think of these two teams? I think team overall is great. Jeremiah Smith didn't look very well this game. He was dropping a lot of passes, and they try to make it. They try to make it easy for him with screens, wide receiver screens, bubble screens, whatever you wanna, whatever screen they were throwing at Texas, just to get Sayin going and get it to one of the best receivers Ohio State has ever had, just to have the ball in his hands and let him do work. Sayin put it on him pretty consistently, and he dropped, a multitude of passes. And Sayin overall, Julian Sayin, I thought he was pretty bad too. I thought he was just as bad as Texas. I meant just as bad as Arch. It kind of depends. So, like I said, I think Sayin threw a ton of screen passes that you don't see on the box score, which is, it's still a pass, but it's not like anything that you can consistently repeat, or if teams start to pick up on it, like we seen yesterday. We saw a team throw so many screens where they just got their shit jumped. So I don't think Sand is going to be anything that good for right now that I can see. But we'll see. Of course, like these people are saying in Arch, this is their first games, big games, whereas for Arch it's an away game in a big stadium like Ohio State, a tough team. I'd say I'd have to give Arch a little more shake than saying, because even though Texas was the number one team, of course, so their defense is automatically right. Arch Manning was coming into a rocking stadium away game, first game of the season, and really first game as that guy with that last name on his nameplate, going against like I said, a tough team, and then that tough team brought in a defensive coordinator like Matt Patricia, who was well recognized and respected even in the NFL. So that's tough, and I think Ohio State will be looking very good with Matt Patricia on the defensive coordinator this season. So I will say that look out for that. So yeah, it was a tough time for Arch Manning. It shouldn't have been that tough though. Even though I give him I give him some slack there. Like I said, the conditions were tough in terms of his first game or whatever. But it was like 60 air yards going into the fourth quarter. That's no excuse. He was missing obvious passes we can all see. And then, like I said, just Julian Sand is just didn't look very good to me either. But we'll see. A lot of things can change in a college football season. Okay. I'll just touch on a little bit of the other smaller games of the big teams playing smaller teams. Drew Aller and Penn State. The Penn State defense looked good. Drew Aller, to me, has always not looked very good. So we'll see. It's probably the same Penn State team that we all know is what I'm seeing. So LSU, like I said, Garrett Nussmeier threw the ball almost 40 times this game. There was a lot of short passes, but accurate passes, and I think he managed the game well. His team was down at halftime. He went and scored a touchdown in each quarter against a tough defense. He was not doing very well in the first half. The team only got one field goal, and the field goal was kind of long, so not really any threats into the Clemson side of the field. And then Nussmeier turned it on, and he turned it on in third and fourth and won his team the game. And like I said, for Cade Klubnik, I don't, I just, he's just not good. We've given Cade Klubnik so many chances. How many times have we, just college football watchers on X, Twitter, whatever, preseason rankings, look how much respect they put on Cade Klubnik. They put Clemson at number 4. They didn't do anything last year. They came kind of close to coming to the college football playoff, but they didn't. Their schedule wasn't that hard. Cade Klubnik is just not that good, guys. Like it's simple. It's a lot of hype. He had a lot of hype going into college. Even sometimes you'd hear he might be the next Trevor Lawrence. And that obviously is not what happened at all. He is not the next Trevor Lawrence. And overall, these quarterbacks are just have not impressed me. Like this Georgia game, Gunnar Stockton, is not good. He was their leading rusher. I think he is a good rusher. I like that. He had 10 carries, 73 yards, as you can see right here. He missed 10 passes, which isn't always bad, but he's obviously inaccurate. When he misses, the receivers don't even touch the ball. Like it's so far out ahead, or it's just not even close. It's in the ground. If your receiver can't even get a hand on it, that means you're a inaccurate quarterback. So yeah, I didn't really like Stockton's play at quarterback. He's a good runner. So yeah, Georgia's defense looked great, and everything else looked great. So you know, just you know, just got to keep seeing how that's gonna play out. Oregon, Dante Moore was on my honorable mention for better quarterbacks to start out the season. They played Montana State, nobody, but his form looked well. And I just got to see more of him, but it looked good. He looked good in the first game. So we got this huge upset here. We had a lot of upsets. A lot of people getting humbled, in my opinion. So Ty Simpson, this was a guy that I liked out of high school. I thought he was going to start over Milroe, and he shit the bed. Is the best way to describe that. He did not play very good against Florida State. And the Castellanos, as you can see there, Florida State's quarterback, he ran it pretty well against Alabama. Came in talking a lot of trash to Alabama, saying this is not the Nick Saban's Alabama, which I've been saying a lot. And was he right? This is not Nick Saban's Alabama. This is Kalen DeBoer's terrible Alabama. I think as soon as they got down, I said, geez, this dude is on the chopping block. This guy's seat is hot for sure. I called it as soon as Nick Saban left Alabama. I said, if this team isn't what Nick Saban's teams used to be like, it would be a real trouble. These fans will, go batshit crazy. If Kalen DeBoer keeps losing. Last year, he lost to Vanderbilt. That was a shock, even for me. And, we're just seeing it unfold of this bad coaching, or whatever you call it, bad recruiting, whatever it is in Alabama, it needs to change. This is not what Alabama football used to look like. It's insane. So I didn't watch the Arizona State game really. Sam Leavitt, a well-known quarterback. He can run, he can throw. He was in the college football playoff last year. He played pretty well, along with Scatterbo, but obviously that team wasn't near good enough to be a Texas team. Bryce Underwood, the 18-year-old, I believe, 18 years old, young guy, supposed to be very, very good. He looked well to me, especially for, I guess he's a true freshman. Especially for a true freshman, he looked good for sure. I just have to see more. A lot of these teams, I'll just have to see more because they're playing New Mexico and other things like that. But one thing I do want to touch on real quick is, so all these quarterbacks, I didn't think, when I first watched this week, I didn't look at any mock drafts. As you can see up here, I looked at the mock draft just now. I didn't look up any mock drafts. I didn't really buy into any hype. I obviously knew about Arch Manning, all the SEC quarterbacks. I just didn't think like any of them would be crazy good, in my opinion, to where it's like Cam Ward, and after watching week 1, I'm correct. Like, if you had the number 1 pick today, before I looked up this NFL mock draft, I'd be like, yeah, I don't see any of these people going top 10, besides maybe Nussmeier. And I'm not even the biggest Nussmeier fan, but you got to give credit where credit's due. Nussmeier, he played well against Clemson, well enough to be looked at as, he's got my respect, okay? Now I just want to switch over to this mock draft. I just want you guys to look at this mock draft, okay? I'm only going to be going on the quarterbacks. Obviously, I don't really care about the other players right at this moment, but so the first guy is Fernando Mendoza. I really didn't even look at his game until I saw this. I said, okay, maybe I'm just ignorant to this guy. I don't know if he's good or what he is. And also, just side note, Browns is crazy because Browns have like 5 quarterbacks. But round 1, pick 1, Fernando Mendoza. I went and go watch the Indiana game, and I literally laughed. I laughed immediately when I watched this guy play. When I say there's literally no fucking shot that this guy goes the number 1 pick, there's no shot. Absolutely no chance. This guy is not good. Okay, just imagine. Okay, when you think of number 1 picks, what do you think of? You think of Caleb Williams. You think of Cam Ward. Now go watch this guy's tape. Go watch this guy's highlights from yesterday playing a shitty team at Indiana. The last year's Indiana quarterback looked way better than this guy. Okay, so this, not to shit on this guy, but this is laughable. This guy going number 1 is laughable. Okay, Nussmeier to the Saints is an actual realistic thing. I could see Nussmeier number 2 going to the Saints, even though I'm really not the biggest fan of Nussmeier. I don't think he can run. But I will say Nussmeier is pretty accurate quarterback. I think he can use his legs when he really needs to. He's not fast though at all, obviously. But he gets the job done. Nussmeier can get the job done. I think Nussmeier can get the job done. But in terms of just like, oh, I'm excited. When your team is in the NFL, you want to get a exciting guy that you know that you can look forward to. If my team drafted Garrett Nussmeier, I wouldn't be happy, or I wouldn't be really excited that we got Garrett Nussmeier. you know what I'm saying? But I can see Nussmeier going 2 to the Saints. That definitely, yeah, that looks right. Okay. Laughable. Who watched the Jets game? I get I'm pretty sure this was done before season, but Sellers to the Jets number 3 is laughable. This dude cannot throw, okay? His run game usually opens up the pass game. And me watching Sellers from last year, I always said that he can't really throw. Like, his throwing motion looks weird. The arm strength doesn't really look there. I mean, he's just a run-first quarterback, in my opinion. He's a very good runner. He doesn't even look that fast to me, but he's a hard runner. So I will say that, he's a good runner, but, Lenore Sellers as a first-round pick in the NFL. I mean, look at me. I'm not a biggest Jackson Dart fan, but Jackson Dart blows Lenore Sellers out the water in terms of a quarterback, and he almost didn't go in the first round. Shedeur Sanders went in like the 4th round, and now I do think that they're blackballing him over something that didn't have to do with football and his father and whatnot. But he went 4th round. Okay, I mean, Sellers is not a first round pick at all. He's not even a first round pick. Fuck top 10. He's not a first round pick at all. I think there was more quarterbacks here. Yeah, Klubnik. He's not first. No, absolutely not. Now, if Clay Klubnik were to ball out the rest of the season after this loss, then we could start talking about late first round pick. A late first round pick. And I know that they might do this weird thing. Sometimes out of the blue, you'll get like Anthony Richardson, who didn't play well, but had a good frame. But look at what Anthony Richardson is now. Right, he's injury prone and never showed any real talent besides his arm strength, and he's not even starting the season this year. And this is his 2nd year or 3rd year, whatever it is. K. Klubnik isn't as big as Anthony Richardson, first off, and shows nothing. Shows nothing that you can build off of, in my opinion. He's a mid thrower, mid runner. I just didn't see anything from Cade Klubnik, and I really have never seen anything from Cade Klubnik besides like he's decent. He's decent at best. He's not a first round NFL pick, and laughable that he's in the top 10 for this mock draft. Absolutely laughable. I think that is it for quarterback. Oh no, we have John Mater. Okay. Yeah, I like John Mater in the first round. If he keeps doing what he's doing, I have no complaints. But we'll obviously see throughout the season. But as he is my second in my top 5 so far, so I do like this. I like him in the first round for sure. I think he could get into the top 10. If he keeps playing the way he's playing, he can run, pass, whatever. Okay, and I think that's it. Yeah, that's it for quarterback. So I just wanted to make that note on quarterbacks. That the quarterbacks just have not been very good. But we'll see. A lot of things can happen in the football season. Just really to go over these quickly, things that I just want to touch on. His material here, as you can see, his stats right here, absolutely lit it up. Absolutely lit it up. My guy Marcel Reed, the UTSA court running back did very well, but you can't see it from here. But Reed is, hold on. Reed had a lot of, or I'll go to the box score. I'll go to the box score just to show you guys. I want to make it quick because the video is kind of getting long. But running, you can see his running stats: 8 carries for 40 yards, which is pretty good. But his throwing stats were good. He missed 12 throws, which isn't ideal. You'd probably, want to get it to 10 or less. But 289 yards, 4 touchdowns, and he's just overall a very good quarterback. I'm really hyped to see him this season. I think I am very high on him. Anybody in my top 5, I am very excited to see, and I am excited to see what they do this season. So we'll see next week. Of course, we'll see. Indiana quarterback, this guy, he didn't even play good, and he didn't look good. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know how he's number 1 pick from that mock draft. That is definitely not going to hold any weight after the first week. Austin Simmons, he made some bad, he made some dumb mistakes, but you can tell that the quarterback in him is there. I promise you, this guy is going to be good. And I am an Ole Miss fan, and I'm usually shitting on the Ole Miss quarterbacks. Even though I'm an Ole Miss fan, I'm usually shitting on the Ole Miss quarterbacks. This guy is going to be good. I promise. This guy, I think he puts after he threw that interception, or the 2 interceptions in the first quarter, he put that behind him, and he played very well after that. So you'll see. His throwing motion is great. He has a quick release, everything. So we'll see about him. Beck is the other guy that I said I might put as an honorable mention, even though he didn't play that good in the week 0 against Kansas State. Yesterday he looked pretty good, really good. 19 for 20, almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. So yeah, that is another guy that I liked. And then this guy Aguilar for Tennessee, which I said was all right, and that's the best characterization of him. He's all right. The car quarterback was horrendous on Sunday. I'll go to the box score just to get Beck's stats. But just watching that game, the car guy looked not good at all. But you got to remember, he's a young guy. So, we'll see with him. But I knew that this game would probably go down like that. Even though Notre Dame was the favorite team, I just couldn't trust C.J. Carr. I didn't know what he was about, and I was correct, even though it was a close game. Carson Beck, 20 for 31. Played a pretty good game. I think Carson Beck's mid, though, just to be honest. I think he's a mid quarterback. But I think he could get the job done with Miami. Miami could be an interesting team, but but they had Notre Dame definitely had to have made that Miami team's defense looks way better, because last year with Cam Ward, that defense literally looked like a middle school defense. I mean, my grandmother could have ran for 100 yards against that team. That team was bad on defense, but their offense was very good. Their offense was good. South Carolina, another thing that I touched on already a little bit. South Carolina's team did not look good. Sellers did not look good, and a guy like Kyron Jones as well, that I expected to do a lot better in this game, because we've seen them light it up a multitude of times last year, but that just did not happen against South Carolina's defense. South Carolina, they really should have only won this game 17-11. A crazy kick or punt return for a touchdown got them the extra cushion of another touchdown. Let's pull up, I suppose, these stats of Sellers. Jones missed 20 throws and still had more yards than Sellers. Sellers 12 for 19. He did a lot of running. Let's see, he had 13 carries, only 25 yards as well, so not even that good on the ground. So yeah, Sellers got some work to do if he wants to live up to that, top 3 pick name, which I don't think he ever will, because he can't even throw it. Like last year, I never even thought he could throw it. But we'll see. Again, a lot of things can happen in college football season, as we all know. So, just to touch up on next week's games, just who I think, what will happen from the teams that I've seen so far, what will happen. I didn't watch the Duke game, to be honest. I don't even know who Duke played, but Luke Altmaier looked pretty well. Let's see, Elon, I don't know. Let's check it out together. Jeez, I didn't even see this guy, Darian Mensah. Maybe I'll have to look him up. It's a close 2.5 spread for Illinois. I still think Illinois probably gets it done. I've never heard of this guy, but maybe he's legit. I'd have to look. Let's look more into the top matchups, though. Iowa, another team I didn't even see this past weekend. Interesting game here. Ole Miss, Kentucky. I will be watching. Will be exciting to watch. Simmons probably finally play against a SEC team. Hopefully this week he cracks down on those bad decisions, and we get the revenge that Ole Miss needs in Lane Kiffin's revenge tour on the SEC this year. Not a lot of ranked matchups next week as well. More week 3 and 4 we'll start seeing more, but the interesting game we got here is Oklahoma and Michigan. This is the main game that I will touch on. Another interesting game that I am excited to see. John Mature against Bryce Underwood. In Oklahoma, I think Michigan is probably the better team. I think they are right on that, probably. They probably are the better team. But give me the better quarterback at home against, Oklahoma against a slightly better team. But I like Oklahoma at home here. It's a exciting matchup and exciting atmosphere in Oklahoma. So I think they get that done. I think John Mature does John Mature things again. And for me, just a very exciting guy to see how he will play against ranked teams. And obviously exciting to see Bryce Underwood, the 18-year-old, phenom that everybody's talking about, how he'll play as well. So there you have it, guys. That's all I thought of the week 1 college football. Week 1 of college football. Just really got to see more of the games, but you saw my top 5 quarterbacks, teams that I'm excited for. Texas, we'll see with how that is, but they just got to get their quarterback game right. I think it's still too early even the rankings are going to see hits. They rank those teams, some teams way too high. I think it was like six top 10 teams lost or something like that. You saw Alabama lose. You saw Clemson lose. It's a lot of teams. So a lot of them were ranked too high. So we'll simply see.